All right, so I'm gonna be telling you a story about how when I was 5 years old, I got lost. Well, actually, scratch that. I didn't get lost. My parents thought I got kidnapped, but in reality, I was perfectly fine, having fun, enjoying like my time. All right, so start of it is it was I was 5 years old. It was summertime, and it was a weekend. So when I was younger, my parents liked to go out a lot, and they decided to go out to. We decided to go out to Eastern Washington because one of my family members, was having her quinceañera. So we decided to go out there. So like a big old family road trip. Everyone hopped in the car. Everyone got everything. Had my little boots on, my cowboy hat, yeah, etc. I got ready. So then we all got ready. We all hopped in the car early in the morning. We headed out there. We were having fun along the way. Like sleeping, waking up. Giving like each other what's it called? Wet willies. Just in the ear. Yeah, we were messing around doing that. Yeah, and after like the whole road trip, we finally got there. We got there around 2 o'clock. Yeah, we got there around 2 o'clock. And like immediately after we got there, the first thing I noticed after as soon as I got out of the car was that there was a racetrack, like a horse racetrack. I saw that there was a racetrack, and immediately I knew that it was like a racetrack for horses. So me being me, in love with horses, the first thing I did was I remember I ran over to the chain link fence. I grabbed it on the chain link fence, and I was just like looking around. I was like looking for horses, looking for anything to catch my attention. Nothing caught my attention. But as soon as I did that, my parents and my sister both knew that that was going to be a problem. So immediately after, like, no, Luis, we're not going over there. We're going to the party. And I was like, all right. So then, everyone just got ready. Like, fast forward like 3 hours. It was like 5 o'clock, and all the people started showing up to the venue. It was like a big ass. Oh, sorry about that. It was a big warehouse, like where like they would store like hay bales, and it was just like huge, huge like warehouse where they would store hay bales, and they had the party there, and it was ginormous. So like all the people showed up, like everyone's like having a good time. I'm over here, playing around with the balloon. I was low key bored because I wanted to go explore and go see horses and stuff, but my parents wouldn't let me, and my sister was watching me at the time. So little evil Luis was just he's playing around with the balloon, playing around with the other kids, and then my parents got up to go dance. They got up to go dance, and they were doing their thing. They were over there dancing, and then one of my sister's friends was also there, and luckily the friend didn't know, but luckily the friend did something I really appreciated. She's like, "Oh, let's go do this, blah 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 blah," and then my sister completely forgot what I had in mind. So my sister decided, she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, let's go, let's go." Literally, as soon as my sister forgot about me, Luis's mind was thinking the whole time. Literally, as soon as she forgot about me, Luis just out. I was straight booking it. I straight booked it. I ran out the door, and the first thing I did was I ran out the door and I turned straight towards the racetrack. Literally, I was just running. Just picture of a little 5-year-old, like maybe not even 4 foot, maybe 4 foot. But I was a little 5-year-old just booking over here to this racetrack. I get to the racetrack, and the first thing I do is like I like jump and like I like hop onto the chain link fence. Like I got my foot in like the chain link fence holes, and I got my hands holding on the chain link fence. And I'm just over here. I'm looking around. I'm just looking, and finally, after a while of looking, I see a horse coming, and like so I guess some rider was like working the horse out or something, and he like, comes running around the track, and he like just blows by me, and I felt the wind. And I was I got really excited. And then, I was just standing there for a while, and I got bored. Oh, yeah. And then I looked behind my back to see if, like, they had noticed I was gone. But they didn't notice. They still hadn't known I was gone. So then little Luis, he wasn't thinking about it, he didn't really care. So then I ran over. Well, I didn't run over, but I hopped off the chain link fence, and I just started exploring. I started walking because the racetrack was, like, over here. And then behind the racetrack, there was, like, stables and barns and all that. And then, like, in the racetrack, they had, like, a dirt racetrack. But then on the inside of the dirt racetrack, they had like a whole like arena, and they had like a whole corral and like chutes. It was like a whole rodeo setup. It was like a track and rodeo setup, and like I got really excited. And I was like, oh, I was like, what if they're having a rodeo or something, you know? After like I was done exploring the barn and all that, you know, I actually found a couple horses over there, and I got distracted, and I was messing around with the horses and all that, and then I got bored, so then I decided to walk around all the barns, and I came back to the racetrack. I come back to the racetrack, and I clearly remember I clearly remember how deep the dirt was because I was like so little, but like I hopped over the chain link fence, and then I hopped onto the dirt racetrack, and like I guess they had just like raked the dirt because like my feet sank. It wasn't like wet. It was just raked over dirt. But my feet sank so deep into the dirt. I was like, wow. And then for some reason, you know, a 5-year-old little boy, he just lost track of what he was gonna go do. So I just started playing in the dirt. I was just playing in the dirt for a while. And then, oh yeah, and then I finally remembered. I was like, oh yeah, I'm here. I was like, horses. So you know, just picture this: a five-year-old little boy walking completely by himself, no one around. It looked like no one was there, and like the warehouse was literally like probably like two maybe 300 yards like behind me. So like it was just a little boy completely by himself, and I was over there, and like finally, just walking down the racetrack. And then I finally got close enough, and I see like this lady, and she was like working out her horse. I clearly remember the color of the horse too. It was a paint colored horse because it was white and it had brown spots. Yeah, it was like brown spots and like patches, and it had a blue eye and a green eye. I remember that. And then I remember I came up to the lady, and then she's like, "Oh hi," and I was like, "Oh hi," and I was like, "My name's Luis." At this time, I didn't exactly know how to speak English fluently, so you know, I was giving her a little bit of Spanglish at the time, but you know, she understood, so it was all right. But yeah, so I was just like talking to her, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I really like horses. Like horses are my favorite animal. I was telling her how I have a horse in Mexico, and we were just talking, you know, and I was petting the horse. And I remember the lady told me to give the horse an apple, and he ate it from my hand, and then my hand was all slobbery after. I remember that. And then, you know, like I'm pretty sure the lady had figured out that I was by myself and I wasn't where I was supposed to be. So then, you know, she's like, you want to get on the horse? And I was like, yeah. And then it's just like the lady takes me and she like sets me on top of her horse, and then she's like walking me around on the horse, you know, and I'm having the blast. I'm having the time of my life. And by this time, like, I want to say like a good hour and a half, 2 hours had gone by, and you know, like I hadn't even thought about like my mom and dad or my sister or like anyone looking for me. I hadn't even thought about that. I was just having the time of my life. And then finally, as like I'm on riding on the horse, you know, and I'm having the time of my life. I'm like, yeehaw, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, having fun, you know, like I don't know, like as like the ladies like walking me around on the horse, in the distance, I see 3 people coming out, and at first I thought about it, but then I was like, nah, I was like, whatever, and then finally they get closer and they get closer and they get closer, and it's my mom. It was my mom and my sister and my cousin, and all 3 of them were bawling their eyes out and they were crying, and they were like, "Oh my God, Louise!" Blah blah blah. They were just bawling their eyes out and they were crying because they had really thought that I got kidnapped. When in reality, this whole time I was over here having the time of my life, talking to this random stranger, this random lady who I had never met in my life, and I just came up to her and started talking to her, and I just had the blast of my life because I was interacting with this random lady talking about horses and petting and riding a horse. And then at the end of it, the lady tells my mom, she's like, don't worry. She's like, I figured he wasn't where he was supposed to be, so I just kept him company till someone showed up. But yeah, now I look back at that and I just laugh about it because, I laugh about it now because I'm older. I can laugh about it. But I look back at that and I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, damn. I'm like, my parents really thought I got kidnapped because they couldn't find me, and I was gone for a solid hour and a half, 2 hours, and they couldn't find me at all. Like they were literally looking everywhere. They were calling people. They were like, they literally stopped the party and went on the intercom just to let them know that I was lost and they couldn't find me. But yeah, moral of the story is don't let your kids out of sight at a young age.